Hello, everyone. Welcome this evening, and thank you so much for coming. The topic today is on school avoidance and anxiety, and I think it's a very timely thing since school is getting ready to start or has already started. So I will do the presentation first, and we will take questions at the end. Uh, My name is Iris Drakeford. I am a LMFT, which is a licensed marriage and family therapist. And I have over 20 years of experience in the mental health field, working in various areas, including the school. I worked as a school therapist in the school system, coming in as an independent contractor. So I've done a lot of work within the school system, also job coaching, and I also work with adults as well as children. So I work uh, based off of cognitive behavioral therapy, which is CBT. And I believe that the clients have what they need in order to be their best selves. And my job is to help them to use those tools. The first thing about the first thing about so now I have my first poll. The first poll is how familiar are you with the topic of school avoidance? So go ahead and do that. Okay. So so it looks like in the room we have some people who are very familiar and some people who are not familiar at all. So that's good because this information will be helpful to both. So the topics, I'm going to end the poll now. Thank you so much. And I will share the results. So, school avoidance is a very, very important topic because it's become very, very challenging in today's society. I would say that I've seen a increase in school avoidance since the pandemic because I was doing therapy with children before, prior to the pandemic. So I have seen a increase. The key topics that we will cover today is going to be uncovering school avoidance and anxiety behaviors, strategies for coping with school avoidance and anxiety, as well as supporting students and parents in addition to coordination of care. The next piece will be identifying reasons for school avoidance and anxiety behaviors. The main point of school avoidance is really trying to figure out what the initial thing is that's causing the anxiety in the first place. This is a key part to helping children and students to succeed with learning how to work through anxiety behaviors. So there's four main factors that contribute. Number one can be cultural aspects. This means that there may be possible language barriers that are stopping the child from wanting to attend school, or even cultural aspects that other students may not understand about that person. Um, Next is number two is family. There's different families that have different values related to education, and some individuals value education more than others. So the family aspect may not be education may not be the top priority. Some students who are older may be required to work in order to help with the finances of the family. The next section, number three, is peers. This part is a huge part of school anxiety. Bullying has been a very, very high point of school avoidance. And there has been, some recent studies that have pointed towards bullying being a big, big part of anxiety behaviors, as well as peers can also have a positive impact as well. If the students have peers that they engage with, that makes it more likely that school avoidance behaviors will be less. And number four is neurological and psychiatric factors. We want to be keeping track of mental health, possible mental illness, and keeping track of those things as well. The next thing is methods for coping with anxiety. It's like, okay, what do we do to help? So, some of the things that have been helpful to students is attending groups with peers. So there are therapy groups that the student can attend, as well as getting the student involved with other peers at their school. Sometimes being engaged in sporting events or sports teams has been helpful, as well as therapy. Therapy being individual therapy or family therapy to help the whole family to kind of get through anxiety. Next is having a support system at home and school. It is so important. This is like the main piece that is going to be helpful is making sure that the teachers, the students, administrators are all on the same page as far as what needs to happen with that child because everything is an individual based system, and we need to be making sure that everybody's on the same page. And also with that, there's something called a 504 plan and an IEP, an individualized education plan. These are plans that help to make sure that the student gets the accommodations that they need within the school system. And next is learning coping skills. When the student attends therapy, they will learn relaxation techniques, which may help them to better cope with challenges with anxiety. Next is additional possible reasons. There's so many reasons why anxiety and school avoidance can happen. So some of them are academic performance. Maybe the child is having difficulty with their grades, and that is making them want to not attend school. Also, relationships with teachers. Sometimes personalities clash, and the student's not getting along with the teacher. So helping that student to kind of have a dialogue with that teacher is very, very important. Bullying, as we already spoke about, social pressures, just society saying, you need to make these grades or you need to act a certain way. Separation anxiety is one that is a pretty big one that I think that people don't typically think about. But separation anxiety from parents and wondering if something bad is going to happen to that preferred parent. Um, Next is distress in school settings. There may be possible violence or things that are triggering to that student in the school. We also need to be identifying possible sensory issues that may be happening. It may be lights or it's audio that may be distressing. Stressful life events, things happen. Students go through things just like adults do. So it's important to think about stressful life events. And then last is fear of something bad happening. Some of the students may go to school and think that something bad is going to happen, um, just based off of their own experience or things that they may have seen um, in television or news. Sometimes kids, feel like something bad may happen to them. Okay, so we have another poll. It says, what are the main reasons that your child gives for avoiding school? Okay, okay. So I'm gonna, I'm seeing a lot of people in the room with possible bullying, academic performance, health related concerns. Got it. And I will share the results. Okay, so we're going to continue. Next is supporting students with anxiety. Getting back to school is very important. So, as I spoke about before, a IEP, which is the individualized education plan, is a piece of information that a lot of parents don't know about. This is where the child will get services through the school, and this is for to receive the this is to receive special education services. Not every student is eligible for this type of these types of plans. So some other students may be eligible for a 504 plan, which means you're accommodating that child within the the classroom that they currently are in. So they're just provided with accommodations, like one of the accommodations may be like test taking at a different location or extended test time. But these plans have to be approved through the school, and usually the child has to have a diagnosis in order to get the services. So you definitely would need to be in touch with treatment plan with the professionals in order to help get the diagnosis. Also, identifying a safe space in the school is very important. Usually, the child will want to have a point person that can kind of help them work through anxiety. And also having a safe space. Sometimes the classrooms have like a safe corner where the child can just kind of like decompress and relax for a little bit to regroup. Also, addressing possible separation anxiety, which we spoke about before. Setting rules is very important. It's important to be consistent. Consistency is the main thing. Like, so if you say, um, we're gonna go to school and this is what is going to happen. We need to make sure that like whatever rules are happening in the house are being followed so that because school is a very structured place. So it's important to have the rules at home be structured as well so that the child knows what to expect. And consistency from parents and the support team is very important. And parent engagement is key. I would say go to the parent teacher conferences and get to know your teachers and let them know what challenges you're having so everybody can be on the same page. Okay. Next is supporting parents with anxiety. Not only does the child have anxiety, the parents can be dealing with the anxiety as well. And I think it's very important for the parents to have the support that they need. So the first thing is to connect with other parents in support groups. There are other parents who are going through the same thing, so it's very, very good to be in a group where you feel like you're not alone. Also, talking with the school about certain resources that they may have available. If you don't ask, you may not know about the resources, but each location has different resources that are available that are specific to where you are located. Also, self care. It's so important as a parent dealing with school avoidance and anxiety for you to take care of yourself. In order for you to take care of your child, you have to take care of yourself first. So it's important to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. And I also would recommend that parents going through this with their children, I would recommend them going through individual therapy where you can kind of talk about what's going on with you and how this is impacting you and how it's impacting the family. And those are the main supports that are available. And there may be other supports, but it's really based off of the location. I did include some resources here because most people may not be familiar with the 504 plan or the IEP plan. I did include some links here that will allow you to go into the 504 plan. And it will give you a definition of what it is, how you can get one, and how you would engage with the school. And also, there are some good articles here that I put in that will give you more information on how to deal with school avoidance and anxiety. And these are references. And I just want to thank everybody for attending this webinar, and we will go to question and answers at this point. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
If you have any questions, you can leave them in the Q&A or in the chat section as well. I just changed the permission, so if the chat wasn't working previously, it should be now.
Okay, so I do see some questions on here. The first one is, do you think it's a good or bad idea to offer the child a mental health day occasionally, allowing them to take a day off instead of faking sickness? So this is a tricky one. It really is a individual based situation. I think it's important for you to work with a professional to find out exactly um, what the behavior is coming from or where the source is, because that's really would determine how you would handle the situation. Um, it is good to take a mental health day, and take a break occasionally, but depending on the child, we could be reinforcing behavior that is going to increase this behavior. So I would say work with a professional or a therapist to really figure out what the initial challenge is, because it is possible to reinforce the behavior of avoiding school and staying at home. So that's the first question. Um, and I hope that answers your question. You can let me know if you need further explanation. Um, the next question is, any tips on phrasing or wording for morning of avoidance? Okay. So I think it's very important for parents to have a routine. The more there is a routine, the more the child will kind of know what's happening, because anxiety is kind of based off of not knowing what's going to happen, or the uncertainty. So sometimes being more organized and having more certainty is good. Sometimes kids like to have positive affirmations, like you're going to have a good day. Sometimes I'll encourage people to post them so that, like, when their mind starts to go into that negative standpoint, they can kind of reset themselves. But I found that having a routine, unless there is a challenge with obsessive compulsive disorder, is usually good for helping. But as far as phrasing goes, um, just encouraging the student uh, to be help to be in a positive mind frame. The parent being the model is going to be very, very important. Were there any other questions? You can put them in the chat. Okay. Well, I will take that we don't have any more questions. And thank you so much for attending. And I wish everyone well with the start of the school year.
Thank you everyone for joining us. You will get a recap email in a few days that will allow you to rewatch the webinar as well. And you can learn more about our behavioral health services and our incredible therapists like Iris at advancedcare.com. Everyone have a good evening.